Okay, Pranshi, we have it.
Can I start? Good morning, everyone. Today we will continue the study of the same book, Trust Yourself to Life, by Sister Clara M. Cod. Today's facilitator is Sister Smitapragyan, and she will be explaining Chapter 5, that is, The Secret of Sin and Suffering. The study will be followed by a discussion and Q&A. So O hidden life, vibrant in every atom, O hidden light, shining in every creature, O hidden love, embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. 1 minute silence. Come back. I take pleasure in introducing our today's facilitator, Sister Smitapragyan. She is a member of TS since 2006. She is the president of Pythagoras Youth Lodge Utkal Theosophical Federation. She is the editor of Sophia, a magazine of young theosophists. By profession, she is an engineer working as an application specialist in an MNC. Now, I welcome Sister Smita Pragya to start the study.
Thank you, Sister Pranchi. Thanks for the nice introduction. And good morning, everyone. Okay, let's start the study, the chapter 5, The Secret of Sin and Suffering. Am I audible to everyone? Yeah. So here, Clara M. Cod says, man has always wondered about the problem of evil and sin. He has asked how, if God is love and all powerful, evil and suffering can come into existence. Yes, this is a very common question everybody has. So we say that God is omnipresent and he is the almighty, he is most powerful, and we say that wherever we see any goodness or any good qualities in anything or anybody, then there is God is present there. So if God is, and we, these things are like, if we say that God is omnipresent, okay, he is in everything, in every atom, in every beat, every bit he is there, in every person, animals, and human beings, plants, everything, then he is the almighty. Then how the sin and suffering can exist? Okay, so she says that this truth, that God and also the immortal spirit in man who is forever part of him is neither good nor evil but beyond both. So here the answer is there, that means if there is no evil and no good there, and we are, as we are the his part, we can say his sons, we say that he's a God, he's a father, and we are their sons. So we are his sons then, and also the immortal spirit in man who is forever part of him is neither good nor evil but beyond both. So there is nothing like good or evil, and we are beyond it. There is, we say that अच्छाई और बुराई से परे हैं, isn't it? There is no ultimate personal representative of either good or evil. There is only one eternal, omnipresent life which is evolving countless representatives of itself under the reign of immutable law. These sparks of the immortal life, these nascent sons of God, are higher selves, have, as I have said, never left the higher spiritual realm, the Garden of Eden, but have put down a limited representative of themselves as soul and body in order to evolve vehicles of consciousness on the lower planes of being. So, we know that we all are the undetached spark of the universal divine flame. So, whatever qualities he has, as whom we say that the divine power or supreme power, or we may say God, or our supreme consciousness. So, we all are the, and we are saying him the divine flame, universal divine flame. So, we all are the sparks of that universal divine flame, and that too the undetached. So we have never, we came down, we say that, oh okay, God is there somewhere up, so we came down, okay, as it's not literally that we came down, but the higher we are, I mean the supreme life, the formless, the eternal, and the boundless, when it comes down, that divine and divine flame, when it comes down as a spark, when it just the spark comes down, uh, to, we know that the God has a plan, we say, no? God has a plan, that plan is called evolution. So we come down here to gain the experience, to learn something, to learn the lesson, to grow, to evolve. So when we come down, then what we just, we forget everything, like we are that power is within us, and we are that, we are an aham brahmasmi, we say, no? But we say only that, but we have never realized it, we never understood it. So when we came down, what happened is we just attached here, we just when we become bounded, when we become, we have forms, then we attached here with the forms. So that is what she is saying here, that never left that the sons of God, they have never left the higher spiritual realm. We have never left the spiritual realm, the Garden of Eden, but have put down a limited representative of themselves as soul and body in order to evolve vehicles of consciousness on the lower planes of being. Says the Katha Upanishad, the self born pierced the senses outward, hence the jiva seeketh the outward, not the inner self. The Bhagavad Gita says the same, a portion of mine own self, transformed in the world of life into an immortal spirit, draweth round itself the senses, of which the mind is the sixth, veiled in matter. So when we came down, we just veiled in matter. So we identified ourselves as that form. We never realized or understood that we are that Aham Brahmasmi. We thought that we are these vehicles, the vehicles we have given, that to um, control over them. These vehicles of consciousness are controlling us. So that is the thing. She is completely, I mean, clearly explaining this thing is When we came down, the soul, the sons of God, as she says here, when we came down, what happened is we just identified ourselves wrongly. And then we are going outwards, like worldly things. I need to achieve these things. I need to be, I need to be great. I need to grow, not inside, not inner self, or not our inner self. We are not trying to go inside. We are going outside, outwards. So the same, a portion of mine own self, in it is explained in Bhagavad Gita, a portion of mine own self transformed in the world of life into an immortal spirit draweth round itself, the senses of which the mind is the sixth veiled in matter. This self-consciousness is brought about by the unceasing play of the pairs of opposites, good and evil, joy and pain, success and failure, etc. HPB puts it in a very lovely words. Harmony is the law of life, discord its shadow, whence springs suffering, the teacher, the awakener of consciousness. Through joy and sorrow, pain and pleasure, the soul comes to a knowledge of itself. Then begins the task of learning the laws of life, that the discords may be resolved and the harmony restored. The eyes of wisdom are like the ocean depths. There is neither joy nor sorrow in them. Therefore, the soul of the occultist must be stronger than joy and greater than sorrow. So, here what comes is, when we identified ourselves wrongly with these worldly things, with these vehicles, so that after that, what happens is, there comes the duality, the pairs of opposites, like good and evil. We say, right, there is good in that person or in that thing or in this situation. So we say that there is good and there is evil. We say that this is not good, this is good, this is evil, that man or that person is good or that person is evil. And we say that in any situation or anything, we say that we feel that if anything goes wrong, it doesn't go according to our this thing, then we feel that we are feeling pain and we suffer. And anything happens according to us, then we feel very much joy and we are happy. Then we say that these different things, like success and failure, whatever. Success, we are saying that in this worldly thing, worldly sense, we are saying that I am, that person is very successful, or I am very successful, or I am a failure. Recently, actually 2 days back itself, I said that I am a failure completely, I can't do anything. And I don't know actually what came into my mind. I was thinking that I'm a completely failure, I'm not successful, I'm not worth it. I was feeling like that. So these things come into our minds, like success, failure, and these dualities, like these opposite things. So in this thing, HPV says that harmony is the law of life, discord its shadow, whence springs suffering, the teacher, the awakener of the consciousness. So when these things comes, then we grow. These are the things which teaches us some lessons. Through these things, we learn, we gain experiences, we learn things. So these are our teachers. She is saying, HPB says here, she is saying that when springs suffering, when the suffering comes, the teacher, the awakener of consciousness. So when the suffering comes, we learn things, we grow. This is our teacher. As we say, right, when we the gold is bitten, then it becomes it shines, right? So when the suffering comes, the true self, the true nature, the consciousness grows, and the true nature comes out, right? So through joy and sorrow, pain and pleasure, the soul comes to a knowledge of itself. Then begins the task of learning the laws of life, that the discourse may be resolved and the harmony restored. So then what happens? The laws of life, I mean, uh, the task starts. Which is the task? The task is for learning about the laws of life. Then when we gradually learn these things, when we experience these things, then what happens? We grow, we understand, our consciousness grows. Then what happens? We realize that there is nothing such, there is no such thing like pain, sorrow, suffering, pleasure, success, like this. So, therefore, the soul of the occultist must be stronger than joy and greater than sorrow. As the occultists, we should realize that after learning these things, after learning the lessons through our lives, then we should learn that we should be stronger than joy. We should be greater than sorrow. If any sorrow comes, any pain comes, any suffering comes, then we should be greater than that. That shouldn't affect us, right? The master cage says that evil has no existence per se. Nature is destitute of goodness or malice. She follows only immutable laws. The real evil proceeds from human intelligence, the progeny of human selfishness and greed. The origin of every evil is human action in man, whose intelligence makes him the one free agent in nature. HPB says that the mind, unilluminated by the spiritual nature, is the real devil in man. So here, Master Cage says that evil has no existence per se. So, as we have discussed in just 5-10 minutes back, that there is no evil, no such thing as evil. Nature is destitute of good and malice. So, nature is, in the eyes of nature, we can say that there is no such thing as goodness or evil. So whatever things happens, for nature doesn't show any partiality. For nature, there is no such thing like this is good or this is bad, this person is good, that person is bad. It's not like that. For nature, everybody is same, everything and everybody is the same. Then she again says that the real evil proceeds from human intelligence, the progeny of human selfishness and greed. So she is saying that the real evil comes from selfishness and greed. Okay, we all know that from where the selfishness came. Just because we am repeatedly saying this sentence, that we have completely identified ourselves wrongly with this material world, or to our vehicles, this lower vehicles, to our bodies. So because of that, then comes the sense of I-ness, I, me, mine. The complete selfishness comes, and the suffering and sorrow and misery comes through this selfishness and greed. When I think that me, I want to be happy, I want to grow, I want to be rich, I want to become powerful. So here comes the I, and then comes the greed. I need to earn money, I need to have luxurious life, I need to have this, I need to have that. So because of this I-ness and greed, the human suffers. In man whose intelligence makes him the one free agent in nature, HPB says that mind unilluminated by the spiritual nature is the real devil in man. Then question comes, why has man free will? That he may learn under the play of the pairs of opposites and their inevitable reactions how to choose the good and reject the evil. In fact, to become self-conscious, self-motivated sons of God instead of nascent possibilities. So why man has free will? Because we have to choose our paths cleverly, wisely. So there are two paths, right? One path is one road. Suppose you can take it as there is one road. One road is very easy, smooth going. There is no hurdles, no ups and downs, nothing. And it will lead you to the evil. It will lead you to nothing. Okay, you can say. And one path is completely full of obstacles, thorns. It's a thorny path, and but it will finally lead you to the spirituality, to the unity, right? So we have given two paths. So which paths we have to choose, that depends on us. So because of that, man has free wills. I have one story I remember. So to clarify this thing, when before creating the earth, this is not completely, I mean, this we know that there is no creation. So, but still, to understand this thing, so before creating the earth, we know that there is devas and asuras. Okay, so when they had an argument, big argument that okay, after earth will be created, and those who will live in the earth, those will be called humans, manavas. So on whom, I mean, who will be the authority of for the humans? Who will take control over the humans? Either the asuras or the devas. They had a big fight. Then asuras said that we will have the complete hold on humans. Then devas said that no, we will have complete hold on humans. Then finally, one conclusion came that there will be no such authority or anything on human. There will be no authority of asuras on humans, no authority of devas on humans. Human must have the free wills so that he will himself choose that he will, I mean, asuras will take control over him or devas will take control over him. That will completely depend on the human, that who will take control over him. So this is the thing. Uh, I mean, the sense of telling this story about it is why this free will, why man has free will. Okay, to choose his path wisely, to choose his um, deeds or actions wisely. Okay, so what then is sin and its inevitable concomitant suffering? Man is born unto trouble as the sparks fly upwards. Many people have been troubled over the existence of sin. That sweet saint, the Lady Julian of Norwich, asked God for sin, and God showed her that there was no sin, and that for every sorrow we suffered here on earth, we should in heaven have added this. The same thing she is repeatedly saying, that there is no such thing as sin or suffering or sorrow or misery or joy. So then I found the answer in Dr. Hastings' dictionary of the Bible. He writes three cognate forms in Hebrew with no distinction of meaning express sin as missing one's aim and correspondence to the Greek and its cognates in the New Testament. The etymology does not suggest a person against whom the sin is committed and does not necessarily imply intentional wrongdoing. The form translated iniquity literally means perversion or distortion and indicates a quality of action rather than an act itself. Again, in the New Testament, the two Greek words translated as sin presuppose the existence of a law. Hence, wrongdoing is the result of ignorance, a false step. Christianity teaches that we are all born with the strain of sin owing to the act of Eve. More mercifully, the Indian scriptures state that man is born with avidya, being without the true knowledge. There is no sin, only lack of growth. Through that lack of development, men make mistaken actions, a step off the right road home, a transgression instead of progression. So, again, she says that, okay, when there is, we are saying that there is sin and there is evil and bad deeds, good deeds. So she is again saying that anybody, any person, any human being who is doing the bad action, you can say, or you can say that sin, as we are discussing about sin. So he is not doing it intentionally. So he is doing it because of the distortion of the idea, the distorted idea, because he is not clear about these things, the reality and this total existence and why we are here and the unity of life. He doesn't understand this thing, and because of this distorted idea, he does the wrong thing. So here she is saying that it's not intentional doing. So it happens unknowingly. So she is saying that, as we say, right, hate the sin, but don't hate the sinner. So because this thing comes because this, those, she has explained this clearly that the sinner is not the, I mean, he is not the bad person actually. He is not the devil actually. Whatever he is doing, just because of the distorted idea. And one more thing, she is saying that in Indian scriptures also it is there that man is born with avidya. So human has, he has born with avidya. So because he doesn't have the knowledge, he doesn't have the proper idea about the existence, the unity of life, the total, I mean, the truth. He doesn't know anything. So just because he has started his journey, he just came down here. Suppose I'm going somewhere, right? I was in my home and suddenly I came out somewhere, the place I don't know. Then I'll behave like, if I'll see any person, then how I'll feel? I'll react like that person will harm me. So same as that, when the soul came down and the soul doesn't know that he what is the goal, what is his motto of life. So when he came down, so he just attached himself here, and then he thinks that he is separate, he is means I'll think that I'm me, I'm completely different from others. There is no unity of life. These people, everybody is there, they are here to harm me. And there is no love. There is, I'm here because I'm suffering here, and people are here to give me pain and suffering. So same as that. So that is called avidya. I don't have real knowledge. I'm completely ignorant. So there is no sin, only lack of growth. So there is no sin, as we say, right? That there is nothing, darkness. There is no darkness at all. It's the absence of light, we say that, right? There is no such thing as ignorance. There is, that is the absence of knowledge, true knowledge. So there is no sin, only lack of growth. Through that lack of development, men make mistaken actions, a step of the right road home, a transgression instead of progression. So because of this avidya, this mistaken actions done, and what happens is he just step off the right road home. So where he should go back to home, right? I should go back home, but because of misconception, uh, the wrong idea, what I did is I just uh, made the wrong path to home. So what happened is I'm one step backwards to reach my home. So the cause of this mistaken action is the desire to benefit the little self, the center of ahamkara, egotism, against the interests of the whole, that united spirit of life, which is our only true life. But as HPB said, that sense of I-ness, of me and mine and ours, is a necessary protection for the immature soul until the time comes when it can be safely destroyed. Hence, the root of sin is selfishness. So now here comes the ahamkara, the egotism, the I-ness, the I, me, mine. So what happens from that? Only the sorrow and everything, this immaturity, I'm doing wrong, I'm whatever I'm doing wrong because of the immature thing. It's because I'm immature. So until the time comes when it can be safely destroyed, hence the root of sin is selfishness. How does nature deal with this? By the reaction, which means sorrow, disaster, pain. Every action of man thus brings its own reward. If it helps the progress of the united spirit of life, it brings opportunity and happiness. If against that will to fulfill, it causes pain, sorrow. Thus the heavenly surgeon cuts away the malignant growth. So what she is saying here? So if a man is selfish and he thinks about himself, and he's he wants to grab things, he is greedy and he is selfish, then how nature deals with this? So she's saying it that if this thing causes pain, and so we know that this selfishness and I-ness causes pain and sorrow. So what happens? Then the heavenly surgeon. So why she said that the heavenly surgeon cuts away the malignant growth? See, when in our body, in our physical body, if any malignant lesion will be there, any malignant tumor will be there, anything malignant, then what surgeon does? They cut it out. So she is saying a simple way, she is saying that if anything malignant is there, then the heavenly surgeon will cut it out. Perhaps no one suffered more in life than the poet Keats. He wrote in the letter to a friend, do you not see how necessary a world of pain and trouble is to school and intelligence and make it a soul? The ancient Celts said of a man who suffered much, he is making his soul. The soul in man grows like the flowers, by the action of sun and rain. The sunshine of joy and success causes a man to expand and unfold. The rain of tears softens the hard ground and nourishes the plant. Thus, sorrow acts if a man does not become bitter. We would all like to fashion a world with no pain and trouble. But what kind of human beings would we then become? Would we then become not self-conscious, self-motivated, responsible beings, but mere robots? Okay, so for the selfishness and greed, I have one, I'll later explain in English also. There is a doha, Kabir Das ji ke dohe. I think everybody knows that. So people, why this suffering comes? Because whatever we have, we are not happy with that. We want more, and we are greedy. Okay, so here he says, रूखा सूखा खाई के ठंडे पानी पी देख पराई चुपड़ी मत ललचा जी. So what does that means? That whatever you have, so be satisfied with that. Don't compare yourself with others and don't be greedy. And that greed is the root cause of all suffering and pain. So then what happens is, if we will not now she is explaining that the soul is uh, grows like a flower. As a flower grows, like when the sunlight and raindrops and the cool breeze, everything, when it touches the flower, when it touches the blossom, then it grows as a flower. So same as that, the sunshine of joy and success causes a man to expand and unfold. So this thing, this sunshine of joy and success, it unfolds the inner qualities in a man and nourishes the, and the rain of tears softens the hard ground and nourishes the plant. See, for example, there is a big uh, there is a plant, okay. It's in the forest, and it experienced everything like heavy storm, rain, and the hot summer, and the very cold winter, and then it grew up, okay, and it grew up into a strong tree, same as that. And when we grow a plant in our garden, it we gave all the care and everything to the plant. So whenever any small storm or little heavy rain comes, the plant breaks down and it dies. So same as that, the pain and suffering, they are the experience, they are the uh, mm, sunshine and the rain which makes us strong, and they make us grow. So otherwise, if there will be no suffering, no pain, and there is no, previously we read about the duality, like positive and negative, right? That sorrow and pain, joy and suffering, happiness. So those success and failure. So if those things will not be there in life, then what we will become? So this is the question comes. If not self-conscious, self-motivated, responsible beings, but mere robots. So how the nature takes us, we are going there. We have no willpower, no thought process. We have no ideas, and we are going through the, I mean, like just like robots. This is the immutable play of the great law of action and reaction. Equal and opposite, which is the east, is named karma. It means our final fulfillment and emancipation. So now comes karma. Okay, so we know that karma is the echo of our actions. So what we do, good or bad, that comes back to us. So here there is the thing that there comes the karma. So Saint Paul is very explicit about the great law, and I have already quoted his words: be not deceived. Okay. Uh, Already quoted the words, be not deceived. God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So we say this, no, that as you sow, so shall you reap. So जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी, and we can say that karma is equal for your action. So same as that. So that by these opposite reactions, man reaches spiritual maturity. In clear form, the famous words of Saint Paul concerning the Christ, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect. Okay, so when a man suffers because of his deeds, it makes him stronger. Okay, then here comes the man who understands cannot criticize or condemn any sinner, for he realizes that the sin and shame of the world is your sin and shame, for you are the part of it. Your karma is inextricably interwoven with the great karma. He knows that the sin is only lack of growth. So, karma, those the person he knows who knows the reality that okay, this is we are learning. Everybody is a learner, everybody is a student, everybody is rising after falling down. So those who understand, they will not condemn any sinner. They will have sympathy and love and compassion for them. So this is the thing. We had the secret of sin and suffering. Thank you so much for your patience and patiently hearing. Namaste.
Thank you, Sister Smitapragyan, for explaining the chapter so nicely. Your talk was very insightful, which gave us the clarity on certain topics like laws of life can be learned by experiencing opposites like joy and sorrow, pain and pleasure, ignorance and knowledge. Through different experiences only, we will understand the inner meaning of life. When we learn to expand the pity I-ness to whole, we gradually move away from selfishness, the root of all sins. We must be satisfied with what we have and not be greedy and jealous of what others have. Today's session was very informative. Thank you, Sister Smita Pragya. Now I welcome the participants to add any other points. If someone has any questions, may type it in the chat box. Brother Shikhar, would you like to add something?
Just that Sister Smita has explained so nicely about this, the secret of sin and suffering, and that actually there is nothing good or bad in nature, and everything is the law. So if we follow the law, we get accordingly the consequences. If we study hard and during the year, then when the exams come, we will do good. But if not, then of course the consequences will be there. I think the same thing is told by in one of the aphorisms by Buddha. And I think my mother quoted it the other day, that the suffering follows us like the wheels of the bullock cart. like the wheels follow the steps of the bull. So in the same manner, whatever we do has consequences. So when we do good things, the good karma comes to us, and when we do something that is not as per the nature's law, it comes to us as suffering. So very nicely explained by Sister Smitapragyan. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions, let us close the session with our closing prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. And thank you, Sister Smita, for picking up this session. And thank you, Sister Pranshi, for moderating this session wonderfully. So, namaste to all. Have a great Sunday and the week ahead. See you later. So I'll and if anybody still wants to say something, or I'll end the meeting now.